I like to pick up from where Bernard took us earlier today. Let's do new things, and let's do these new things differently as well. So, you probably know where we are, because we have been there for quite some time. We've been looking through our archive, and we reckon we have been in that place, providing visitor information on Edinburgh and the whole of Scotland since 1990. So that's quite a good long stretch, maybe a little bit too long a stretch. But you know, in those days when we moved there, that was the right place to be. We were literally on, oh my God, there is a clock, literally on top of a train station. We were next to the buses, we were near the bus station, near the airport bus, and we still are. But what is different is how our consumers behave. In those days, they would come up with their suitcases in tow, and they would ask for accommodation that very night in our city. That does no longer happen. Our accommodation bookings are down to hundreds rather than thousands, and most of those are for travelers going on to other places in Scotland. So the behavior has changed, and our footfall has changed. 10 years ago, we were on more than 500,000. Nowadays, we're down to 345,000 and not counting very much more. Why? Well, as I said, the behavior has changed, but we also had some challenges around the site. As you know, Princess Mall, Waverley Mall, whatever it's called at the moment, is ripe for redevelopment and will be a much-needed asset for the city, no doubt about it. But it has provided us with some challenges and some uncertainties as well. And obviously, we couldn't really stay there. We also had all the lovely bars coming in. Now, I'm really in favor of bars, you know me, though it's still dry January for me. I really like a bar, but funnily enough, I suddenly didn't like a bar in front of our very own doorstep. When these bars are built up, they operate, are taken down twice a year now. That's 6 months of the year where we are quite hidden away. You can see the wonderful photography done by yours truly. That's without the people. When the people are in there, it looks different, and it's very difficult, despite our little ziggy-zaggy thing, how that ever got past World Heritage or anything, who knows? It's difficult to find us. But we have operated successfully nevertheless, and even our interior, goes back to 1990. We had some cosmetic refurbs. We've made the best of this space, but we still have a physical queuing system. We still have staff who welcome people as they come into the center, and we heard how important that is, but we also still have a big counter that everyone has to queue up for. We still do a lot for the city. We still do our bit for the wider Scottish visitor economy, but it is really time for a change. We want to do something different. And we're no longer tethered, as I said, to that location right on top of the transport hubs. But finding a new location is not easy. We are the public sector. We heard all about the various spending cuts. We can't go and have the unit that Apple has. My boss said to me, "Blank canvas, what do you want?" And I said, £500,000. And he said, no. So that was the end of that conversation. Luckily enough, the council came to us and have collaborated with us, and we have found this building, which is part of the City Chambers complex. So we are moving from our transport location to the heart of where our visitors are. So we are moving up to the Royal Mile into part of the City Chambers complex. We are on that right-hand U-leg, so to speak. Until recently, that was a Citizens Advice Bureau, but they have moved out, and we are just waiting on concluding our legals to go forward with our work. So when we get there, we want to make change. We don't want to do what we did so well in our old place. We want to challenge ourselves, and we want to innovate. So let's have a little look. By the way, we call that internally the Avengers building, because I believe that for a nanosecond it might have been in a movie. Gordon, you might keep me right on that one. But we want to make more of that space. It's a beautiful space, and we want to really shine in there, make the city shine and make the country shine. So here is a little taste of it. Luckily enough, I didn't draw that, you can tell. So if you imagine the Royal Mile goes along on the right-hand side, so there's an entranceway just there. There's a secondary entrance which will allow people with mobility issues to get into the building quite easily, which is really important to us as well, because we want to be inclusive. And if you look at it, you can see it looks quite different. we have what we always have. We have beautiful graphics, we will have mapping, we will have leaflet racking, but we no longer have a counter. You know, again, Bernard summed it up so beautifully earlier this morning. Staff, not stuff. Trust me, there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff going in, but it's the staff that will shine. When we look at how we do on TripAdvisor, it is usually not about our buildings, it's about what our people say and do. And our team will be out there. We will be even more welcoming than before. We will ask what the visitor needs are more than ever, and we will not be behind the counter. We will meet and greet at the door, and I noticed about saying goodbye and thank you as well. That'll go in as well. So there's a lot of work we're going to be doing in there over the next few months. Here's a side view. As you can see, it looks quite different. It's a bright space. There's a lot of window space in there, and it will be welcoming. We'll have still all the services there. We will still, for the moment, certainly provide accommodation for those visitors who still need it. But we will continue also with ticketing. We will still have some advertising space, and we will also still do some retail at the back. You might have heard about our Shop Local initiative, which is really concentrating on what is being done and made in Scotland. That kind of complements our retail product and is quite different from what is going on around us. So really exciting things. But when we come to it, we also want to work differently with you. We heard of some of the problems we have in the city today. We heard about the fact, you know, the over-tourism story, the narrative around that. We want to tackle it, and we can't tackle it on our own. We want you to come to us, and we want you to work with us. We want to help you disperse the visitors out to wherever they want to go. There is so much more to Edinburgh than the Royal Mile, and we all know that. We also need your story. So I will end simply, and I've got 3 minutes in hand. Let me end simply on a plea and a promise. We asked you to come to us, to work with us, to tell us your story so we can relay that story, to share your news, your changes, your endeavors, your investment with us early on, because it really is absolutely important that we know this. Because our promise to you is that we will tell your story. We will tell your story with passion, we give inspiration, and we will make sure that our visitors will do more and see more in Edinburgh and beyond. So once we have a timeline, I'll be in touch. I'm looking forward to inviting you to come and see us once we're ready, before we open the doors to the great public that we want to see there. In the meantime, you know that Paula and Sonia are here, but some of my colleagues who deal with businesses and with the Ice Centre are here as well. So can I ask them to stand up? Alistair, over there, your industry relationship manager. We've got Penny, our Ice Centre manager, and Lynn, our regional manager for the area, for the East area, and myself. We're here during lunch, so please feel free to come and speak to us if you have any queries. We'd be delighted to answer them. And thank you very much, and I'm very excited about the future. Thank you.